Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells us in Surah Ali Imran, chapter 3, in verse 129. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض يغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله غفور رحيم. And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on earth. He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills. And Allah is forgiving and merciful. Now some verses in the Quran are very clear. You read it, you understand it perfectly. Pray, do not kill, do not steal. Those are very clear verses. But there are other set of verses that require a little bit of thought or going back to the scholars to truly understand what it means. Like in this verse, when it says, يَغْفِرُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيُعَذِّبُ مَن يَشَاءُ, He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills. Who does the He refer back to? Because it says He. Who is it? Now, you could refer it back to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, which is correct, because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala does whatever He wants. Nobody can ask Him or nobody can tell Him, no, you can't do this. Allah can do whatever He wants. But this type of understanding carries the meaning that punishment and reward is arbitrary. And that explanation does not befit the majesty and fairness of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So when you see a verse, you have to explain it or think about it from the angle of Allah's perfect attributes. So this interpretation that Allah can, you can be good and Allah may decide to punish you, or you may be bad and Allah may decide to reward you. Yes, Allah can do that, but He will not do that because Allah is fair. So we have to consider this verse based on Allah's beautiful attributes. So ask yourself, is Allah fair and just? Yes, He is. And does it make sense that He may make you do something and then punish you for it? Or reward you for something that you didn't do? No. Because Allah is fair and just. So when you go back and look at the verse from the lens of Allah's beautiful attributes, then you get a better understanding. So if we attribute the He in the verse to man, now that makes a little bit more sense, that يَغْفِرُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيُعَذِّبُ مَن يَشَاءُ. We have the freedom to act in this life. Allah gave us that right. So if if the He is attributed to man, then we understand from the verse that if you want to be forgiven, يَغْفِرُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. So if you want to be forgiven, then you obey Allah and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will forgive you. And if you want to be punished, disobey Allah and Allah will punish you. Now that interpretation is more befitting Allah's perfection. Because, when you think about it, it is very plausible. If you act the way Allah wants you to act, He's going to reward you. He's not going to punish you. It's not arbitrary. It never is arbitrary. So Allah's will, when they say Allah's will is connected to His wisdom. And His infinite wisdom is connected to everything that is good for His creation. That's how Allah's beautiful attributes. When you study Allah's beautiful attributes, you come to that realization that only good comes out of Allah's actions. Only the best for His creation. When somebody is getting punished or something bad happens, they deserve it. There's a reason why something happened. It's never arbitrary. We may not realize it, but that's how it goes. Now here's another verse in Surah At-Takwir in chapter 81 verse 29. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَيَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And you do not will except that Allah wills, Lord of the worlds. Now, the correct understanding of this verse perhaps can be demonstrated from, with an example. A jeweler invites you to the store and say, you pick whatever ring you want. You got rings from $100 up to $500,000. Pick whichever ring that you want. So you go into the store, you look around, and you pick the most expensive one. And then the jeweler reminds you that you picked it because he allowed you to pick it. And that's how we understand the relation between Allah's will and our will. It's a relation of favor and bounty, not a relation of coercion. Allah will never force you to do anything. We have the full freedom to do whatever we want in this life with consequences. There is consequences to our decisions. But our free will is a bounty from Allah, because all of His other creation, they do not have that free will. They don't have the choice to do whatever they want. They are pre-programmed for a certain function that He created them for. You look at the animals, you look at the plants, anything in creation other than man and jinn, they don't have any free will. The sun rises every day like clockwork. It does not have the option to decide, today I don't feel like going up. No. The sun is always there, the moon is always there, all creation behave exactly that way. So we have that's how we have to understand these verses. Not that that for us to do something, Allah, makes us do it. No, that is not a good explanation. So Allah Ta'ala reminds us that our freedom of choice is a bounty from Him, because it's His will that we have free will. Another verse in Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 93. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَكِنْ يُضِلُّ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَلَتُسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And if Allah had willed, He could have made you one religion. But He sends astray whom He wills and guides whom He wills. And you will surely be questioned about what you used to do. Now, Allah Ta'ala could have forced all of man to be believers. He could have made us all to be believers. Ummatan wahida, one nation, one religion, one type. We all are the same, but He did not will that. He willed for us to be different, to have the freedom to be different. Compulsory belief has no value. To force somebody to believe has no value. You have to come to Allah willingly. That's where the reward of heaven comes. When you willingly obey Allah and go to Him, not for Allah to make you a believer. What's even worse is some people think that Allah forced them to be bad people. If Allah is going to force you into anything, it's going to be force you to be good. But He did not decide, He did not will that. He gave us the freedom to be good or be bad with consequences. So compulsory belief has no value. Because if Allah forces you to be good or bad, then what good is, there's no value for heaven and hell. Punishment and reward is meaningless when you're coerced to do something. وَلَكِنْ يُضِلُّ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. But He sends astray whom He wills. Again, He could refer to the person who goes astray. That because Allah gave us that option, if you want to go astray, Allah will let you go astray. He's not going to force you not to go astray. You have the freedom to act with consequences. So if you act badly, there'll be consequences, and Allah will let you. But when leading astray, if you're going to explain it from that Allah's will is to send somebody astray, then the person who chooses to go astray, one of the explanation of that is you're chasing something and you'll never find it. You go, take refuge, you think that somebody has the power to benefit you or harm you, and you obey them and you disobey Allah, Allah will make you lose, will make you go astray away from these people and back to Him, to realize that He is the only one. They will disappoint you. You will always go back to Allah because He is the only one you can rely on. Everybody else will disappoint you if you rely on them with the exclusion of Allah Ta'ala. And another verse in the Quran, Surah Ghafir, chapter 40, in verses 73 and 74, explain some of that meaning. ثم قيل لهم أينما كنتم تشركون من دون الله قالوا ضلوا عنا بل لم نكن ندعو من قبل شيئا كذلك يضل الله الكافرين. Then it will be said to them, the bad people in hell being punished, then it will be said to them, where is that which you used to associate with other than Allah? Where are your partners that you worship them in this life instead of Allah? Where are they on the day of judgment? They will say, they have departed from us. Rather, we did not use to invoke previously anything. Thus does Allah put astray the disbelievers. All of the people that they were counting on, they're not there. They can't find them. They went astray. So now they come back to the realization that only Allah Ta'ala had the power. They should have gone to Allah, not to these people, and that they lost their way. So Allah Ta'ala will always lead man back to Him and away from anything else that man may call upon instead of Allah Ta'ala. وَلَا تُسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, and you will surely be questioned about what you used to do. Now, having that freedom of choice to be good, to be bad, to do whatever we want in this life has consequences. And Allah Ta'ala will surely ask every single one about every action, every inaction, every word, every sign. Why did you stay quiet when she should have said something? Why did you say something when you should have said quiet? Why did you do this? Why did you hurt this person? Why did you? All of these will be questioned. As a believer, make hisab on yourself before Allah Ta'ala asks you. Because if you are hard on yourself and you question yourself, then Allah's questioning will be easy. So Allah is warning us that we will be asked about everything that we do in this life. So we have the freedom to choose our path. We can choose to be good, we can choose to be bad, and we'll pay the consequences. So, having the choice, meaning having responsibility. Nobody is going to die for your sins. It's a ludicrous concept that somebody else died for your mistakes. No. Every single one of us, we are the ones responsible for our actions, and nobody else can absolve you of them but Allah's grace and mercy. So personal responsibility is at the heart of Islam. Do whatever you want, but there is consequences. You will pay the price. There is no escape. You may escape a country, or you may escape authorities, or you may escape justice, but you will never escape the justice of Allah Ta'ala. You will never escape the questioning, and everyone will pay for what they did, or get reward for what they did, whether people realize it or not. So we have the choice, but that means we have responsibility, and there are consequences. So the belief that we have no choice in the matter, that Allah decreed on us to be good or be bad, is false, and it's rejected. Somebody came, they caught at the time of Sayyidina Umar, they caught a person who was drunk. And Sayyidina Umar ordered that he be lashed, the Iqamat al-Had. And the guy said, no, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Allah decreed on me to be a drunk. He said, punish him twice. One for his for his crime, and the other one for inventing a lie on Allah. Allah will never force you to do anything. It's all you. If you are good, thank Allah. You are good. If you are bad, don't blame anybody else. Look in the mirror and correct yourself. And the belief that God created certain number of people for heaven and certain number of people for hell, and you just luck of the draw, that's false. It doesn't make any sense. When you think about it, again, is Allah fair? Is Allah just? That's what you have to go back. Allah will never decree anything on you but free will. And you decide how you want to end up. You want to end up in heaven? You obey Allah and toe the straight path. You want to be punished? It's your choice. You want to be punished? You'll be punished. يَغْفِرُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيُعَذِّبُ مَن يَشَاءُ. That's how we understand these verses. So personal responsibility, again, is at the heart of the faith. You cannot blame anyone. You only have yourself to blame. And so we can do whatever we want, but we must understand there are consequences. So we must choose wisely. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم.